This is Renelle, and welcome to Quality Hang with Rod Brooks and friends. And here he is now, your host, my main man, Rod Brooks.
Thank you very much, Renelle. I am Rod Brooks, and welcome everyone to Quality Hang. And as always, I'm joined on this broadcasting adventure by my partner in crime, my friend, your friend, the co-host of Quality Hang. He is Marcus Osborne. What up, man? How you doing?
I am fantastic. A little bit out of breath, but I'm all right.
And just to let people know, Marcus was not being chased by the authorities or a jealous husband. He was doing his due diligence to get, not this time. Yeah. All the other times, it was absolutely either the authorities or a jealous husband. This time, he was doing his due diligence to get to the program, and we are happy to be with you. Better late than never. Let's get into it. But before we do, we start, as we always do, by thanking our presenting sponsors, the fine folks at Hot Monk Taverns, 3 locations to choose from: Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Novato. And at all 3 locations, they all do the same great things. They feed you with fantastic food from a wildly diverse menu. They satisfy your thirst with a great craft beer selection. And if you are looking for something entertainment-wise specifically, or even if you have no idea what you're looking for, they've got you covered at Hot Monk. So check them out online and see what they have coming up as far as entertainment is concerned. Again, at all 3 venues, touring acts from around the country, or you can stumble into an open mic night or an open mic comedy night, or you can join those open mics if you feel like you got that talent. They also have country line dancing nights. Basically anything you're into, you can find it at Hop Monk. So make sure you check them out online. Again, at hopmonk.com. Definitely follow them on all of the socials. And most importantly, if you happen to be in Sonoma, Sebastopol, or in Novato, make sure you stop by. I don't know why my voice decided to go up an octave there. Make sure you stop by one of the 3 Hop Monk locations in those fine Bay Area towns. Let's get into it. We'll start with the breaking news first. A particularly terrible Monday Night Football game is being forced up on the United States of America.
Oh my goodness! My goodness!
The Eagles and the Chargers. I mean, some people are calling it a mid-off. I would just call it a bad football game. Jalen Hurts has 3 interceptions and a fumble.
Oh my God.
One of those fumbles, or the fumble, and one of those interceptions came on the exact same play. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of hard to explain. Look it up, and you will be just as befuddled as the people who saw it. A little bit more than 2 minutes left to go in the game, actually 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Chargers are getting the ball back after the Eagles have kicked a field goal to go up 16-19. Both of these teams are 8-4, so we'll keep you updated on what happens with this game. If anything of note happens here in the last 2 minutes or 11 seconds, and we will give you the final if nothing happens, or if this game does not.
Remember when Monday Night Football was the game? You were getting great games on Monday Night Football. I can't see when the last time that was.
Yeah, well, it's gotten cannibalized, and the first thing that happened was NBC paid a bunch of money into the billions to get the Sunday Night Football package, which is supposedly the premier package on a week out basis. So they were paying for the top games with the top most popular teams. So you get a lot of Chiefs, a lot of Cowboys, a lot of NFC East games. Sunday night or Monday Night Football fell by the wayside. Now you got Thursday Night Football, and they've gotten more serious about having better matchups and more popular teams on Thursdays. So I think that's even made Monday Night Football, as it stands right now, take a back seat. But I mean, they got obviously the Eagles, a popular team coming up with the Super Bowl. The Chargers, obviously second fiddle in LA, but you're getting the LA market, so you're getting 2 fairly popular teams. This has just been a bad football game, specifically quarterback play, specifically Jalen Hurts, who, hey man, I get it if you're an Eagles fan, because yo, dog, it is hard to watch this guy play football.
The question continues to be: is it the offense or is it the quarterback?
You know that meme where the little girl goes, "Why not both?" I'll just do my version of the meme. Why not both? But watching this game tonight, man, Jalen Hurts is a frustrating watch. He's he's not a very good quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
That's the simplest way to put it. You'll be watching
Jalen.
and you will see guys wide open that Jalen Hurts, for whatever reason, just simply does not see. He's regressed for sure. Or, if you go all the way back to his Alabama days when he was kind of doing the same thing, maybe he has a regret.
Risk averse?
Maybe he's just doing it and he's just getting paid to do it.
Yeah. I mean, he always comes off as a dude who's kind of, this is cool for now.
Well, I mean, he's
interview. I'm not saying he doesn't want to win or any of that stuff. I'm just saying he just seems like he's kind of above this shit, and he's kind of doing this until he goes to his next thing as, I don't know, an attorney or something.
Well, I mean, from a football standpoint, he's limited in the passing game, which is crazy when you consider what they have in that passing game. Still a very good offensive line and two of the best receivers in football. Although I did just watch A.J. Brown drop a touchdown that would have put this game away instead of giving the Chargers a chance to tie it with a field goal with now 2 minutes left as they've gotten to the warning. He's just not very good in the pass game. But what you saw last year from Jalen Hurts is that he wasn't making mistakes. He wasn't doing anything to hurt the Eagles, and they also had a significantly better run game. I don't know what the running numbers are. I've seen Saquon Barkley get loose for a few runs, but they're not absolutely killing the Chargers with the run game. So it has been put at times, understandably, on Jalen Hurts' shoulders, and he's just not been good. And this is something that we've seen over the course of the season. So I guess you could call it a regression.
That the running game too, not being what it was last year. You know what? Every time a back gets over 300 carries, they talk about how it affects them next year, and it just always seems to be one of those things that ends up being true.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I still put him in the same category, Barkley. I put him in the same category as Christian McCaffrey. Is you're much better giving him the ball repeatedly
100%.
and having him
100%.
in your action repeatedly than you are not giving him the ball.
100%.
There's always going to be some decline because Father Time is undefeated, but you are a better football team when the ball is in his hands, or the threat of the ball being in either Barkley's or McCaffrey's hands is a clear and present danger to the opposing defense. So whatever, but it's the Eagles. Watching them struggle and watching them lose this game tonight, going along with the Texans becoming America's team last night and beating the Kansas City Chiefs, having the Chiefs and the Eagles lose in back-to-back games, back-to-back primetime games, in my estimation, would heal this great nation and bring us together. But with the Chargers kind of playing boo-boo the fool out there, I don't know if we're necessarily going to get it. Minute 46 left to go in this game. Chargers tearing down a second and intermediate, still 19-16. The Eagles on top. We'll get to various other NFL news and the Niners in a second. But how about we start with the Golden State Warriors? How you feeling about that? Feeling good about starting with the Golden State Warriors? Let's talk about the Warriors week and to talk about where they're going on Friday, taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and where they are. You kind of have to go back to the week that was. The past, as they say, is a prologue. So the Warriors right now sitting at 13-12, not pure mid, but pretty close to pure mid. The Warriors coming off a 3-game road trip in Philadelphia and Cleveland and then Chicago. Warriors, surprisingly, on that road trip, 2-1 and could have been 3-0. Yeah. But you have to go actually back to last week at Chase Center and the game against OKC.
Yep.
Because this is the beginning of, and I don't know what this means for the Warriors long term, but we're talking about the here and now. And it's impossible to really tell the story about where the Warriors are right now, feeling good about a 3-game road trip where they were 2-1. It's impossible to tell that story without talking about last week against Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City comes in and wins. OKC gets out to a big lead, and you're thinking the best team in the league, Oklahoma City, is just going to make a grease spot out of a Warriors squad that has a lot of issues. Well, it was looking that way. And not to pick on a couple of guys in Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski, but it's hard to not tell the story about what happened against Oklahoma City and where the Warriors are right now without talking about these two guys. So the Warriors got that fourth quarter comeback going, and Brandon Podziemski was 0 for 4 in that comeback and had 3 turnovers. Jonathan Kuminga didn't play in that fourth quarter. He had a night where he was 3 of 10 from the field. So the Warriors go to Philly last Thursday, and another comeback that fell short. But Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski, both of them sat the entire fourth quarter as the Warriors erased a 24-point deficit. By the way, the Chargers are in field goal range now with 21 seconds left, 19-16, pardon me. Eagles on top of the Chargers. But both of those guys sat as the Warriors erased a 24-point deficit, coming up short, giving up an offensive rebound, and getting blocked on the other end. But Brandon Podziemski, as the Warriors erased that deficit in Philadelphia, he was 0 for 5 to start that game. And all of those shots were from behind the three-point arc. Jonathan Kuminga was 1 of 5. So both of those guys had terrible games as the Warriors came back, albeit in a loss, against Philly. So now you get to Saturday in Cleveland. Jonathan Kuminga, he's 1 for 10. He's 0 for 3 from behind the money line from three-point land in only 21 minutes. He played only 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the fourth quarter. Now, Brandon Podziemski, who again had problems against OKC, had his problems in the fourth quarter against Philadelphia. Brandon Podziemski seemed to get the message after the game in Philadelphia and his benching in the fourth quarter. He played better in Cleveland and in Chicago, where he had 10 points and 21 points, respectively, in both of those games. But Jonathan Kuminga caught a did not play. Jonathan Kuminga didn't get off the bench. That's his first healthy scratch of the entire season. It's hard to tell the story of where the Warriors are and where the Warriors want to go without telling the story of what happened with the Warriors last week, and not to make it all about those two guys. But Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski, what they did and what one of them was unable to do in terms of getting his self right for how he could continue to play and get some run in the fourth quarter. One guy got it. The other guy didn't. And the other guy bring Jonathan Kuminga. January 15th for Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors simply cannot come soon enough.
For real, dude. This is a major regression for JK. You start to get a glimpse as to why this coach continues to choose Podziemski over Kuminga. And it comes down to the fact that Pods can actually put himself together and get out of his own way every now and then and play the game the way the coach wants him to play. JK has just kind of made up his mind. I'm gonna do this, and you just gonna like it.
Yeah.
And you even kind of glimpse as to what's going on when you heard Coach Kerr talk about some of the things that were bothering him about each of those players.
Yes.
With Pods kind of trying to be the guy and trying to do
too much.
Stuff. And JK simply, dude, what an indictment.
Yeah.
Waiting. Like, people kind of glossed over that, but that's a big deal. He came at him like, oh, you just basically want to sit back and ask for the ball.
There was one play in the game in Philly, and DeAnthony Melton, who we'll talk about here in just a second. By the way, game's tied. Cameron Dicker just hit a field goal. So this game that has not been one that you would send to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, this game now is going to go into overtime. Chargers and the Eagles tied at 19. There was a play in the game against Philly. DeAnthony Melton is playing. And DeAnthony Melton, who, well, we can talk about him a little bit right now. What I love about DeAnthony Melton and what has helped Brandon Podziemski and what will help the Warriors overall is that DeAnthony Melton is a ball handler. Brandon Podziemski with the ball in his hands, it gets to be problematic. And he gets in his own head, and that's when the bad shot selection starts, and that's when the turnovers start. But DeAnthony Melton is in, and Jonathan Kuminga is in. in this game against Philly. And Jonathan Kuminga has the ball. And I don't know for how many seconds. It was too long for my taste. I'm sure it was too long for Steve Kerr's taste.
Right.
He's at the top of the key, and he's dribbling, and he's looking for a driving lane. He's looking for his. DeAnthony Melton, okay, 6'2" guard is the one who's running down the lane. That's a problem. That's a problem. Those roles should be reversed. Jonathan Kuminga should not have the ball in his hands at the top of the key. DeAnthony Melton, if he's in the game and Kuminga's in the game, DeAnthony Melton should have the ball in his hands at the top of the key, surveying, looking for Jonathan Kuminga, who's the only person on that Warriors squad that has the athleticism that other teams worry about. Jonathan Kuminga needs to be the one going down the lane. Jonathan Kuminga needs to be the one cutting to the basket. That one play told me a lot.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be that way.
And dude, you just I'm actually kind of sick of hearing people say Kuminga is too good to be treated this way, because I've heard that a lot over the past 3 weeks from a bunch of talking heads. I'm like, you don't watch this team play. You don't watch this team play. One of the things that actually it's kind of a truism for this Warriors offense, really, if you play within the offense, you should be okay. If everybody's doing what they're expected, even if you're kind of a Scribini, if you're coming out there, you playing hard, and you work within the offensive scheme, you can make it happen.
Oh, you mean like Pat Spencer?
I mean,
oh, you mean like that motherfucker, Pat Spencer? Everybody's new favorite white boy, Pat Spencer. Over the last 4 games, 16 points a game, almost 6 rebounds, 4 assists per game. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's talking real heavy to opposing crowds. No, it's. And that's the thing with Brandon Podziemski. You know, he saw what was happening because it was happening right in front of him. Pat Spencer was coming in and getting minutes because he's a guy that Steve Kerr can trust. And I said this when I was on the postgame show after the Philly game on NBC Sports Bay Area last week, is that I hate that it has to be Kuminga and Podziemski on the bench, because I want those guys to play. I mean,
me too.
It would be crazy for me to be like, I don't like this guy. That's dumb, right? I want those guys to play. But it's frustrating to watch 2 guys with talent not play the way that they're supposed to play within this Warrior system, whether you think that's fair or not, whether you like it or not. And I like the fact that Pat Spencer and DeAnthony Melton were the ones getting minutes in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter when the Warriors were coming back against the Sixers. It was good to see the right people getting minutes in the fourth quarter, with Pat Spencer being one of those right people. And he's a guy that Steve Kerr can trust. He's not out there hunting his own shots. He's not turning the ball over. He understands the flow of the game and what he needs to do to either impact that flow, to speed it up or slow it down, or to keep the flow right where it is. And I know it's hard to play, especially when Steph's around. It's hard to play in this Warrior system. You have to make a lot of quick decisions, but that's the job you have to do. And right now, I'm not saying that Pat Spencer's an all-star by any stretch of the imagination. And once the league gets a read on him, they get a book on him, and especially once he starts to see bigger, tougher guys, it's going to be harder for Pat Spencer. But where we are right now, he's the one guy that you can put out on the court who can handle the ball, who can play point, and he's not going to foul things up. Brandon Podziemski was given that opportunity, and he wasn't the right guy for that opportunity. So now what you've seen over these past couple of games with Spencer doing what Spencer has done and what Melton has been able to bring, although he didn't play against Chicago, Brandon Podziemski now doesn't have to hold the ball. He's not over dribbling, and now he could go out there and play a lot calmer and a lot freer. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, man. Just do what the offense tells you. Move the ball. As Kerr always says, the ball will find you if you have an open shot. Move it. Keep it moving. Don't hold on to it. Like, unless you're Steph Curry, or Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green, you got no business holding that ball.
Yeah. And also go to the basket. Man, I wish you guys. I might have to see if I could get a little video and share it when I'm sitting watching the game with Bonte and Festus on NBC Sports Bay Area. When really anybody drives to the basket, or any of the guards, particularly Pat Spencer, gets 2 feet in the paint, and whether he finishes, whether he drops a floater, or whether the ball goes in and it comes back out and they swing it around, we get more excited to see, particularly Pat Spencer or anybody really, get 2 feet in the paint. We get more excited for that than we do guys hoisting up threes, not named Steph Curry.
Yeah, you because you're playing the game the way it should be played.
Yes.
You're playing to the strengths of the system as it is set up. They may not like it. Everybody talks about how hard it is to play with Steph. I personally wouldn't think it was that hard because I know I'm going to get me some shots and some pretty good ones too. So just do what the system asks you to do and you should be okay. Now, when Steph Curry's gone, there'll be an entirely new system. But this system was built specifically around the way that people defend Steph Curry and the way Steph Curry plays his game. Period.
So we are in the midst of, as people are calling it, it's not Linsanity, it's Spence sanity, as everybody's going crazy for Pat Spencer. But what a story. But he's not just some plucky, little all shucks white guy out there. He's a fierce competitor. He's an athlete. But again, he knows how to play. He's a guy that Steve Kerr can trust in crunch time. He's a guy that understands, again, the flow of the game. And he's a guy that can take the pressure. I mean, really, he can take the pressure off of Jonathan Kuminga. But right now, if we're just talking in a one-for-one situation, he's taken the pressure off of Brandon Podziemski. And you've gotten better basketball over the past couple of games from Brandon Podziemski. Give Podziemski credit. But him understanding, hey, man, we can't keep taking these crazy-ass shots. We can't keep it with all these pump fakes and all that kind of stuff. Play within the flow of the offense. Keep the ball moving. Use your athleticism. Let other guys do the dribbling, and then you find a way to fit in. But I do want to point out something here before we move on from the Warriors and give Jonathan Kuminga some credit, because this young man who's being highly compensated for the job he is, or if you want to look at it a certain way, the job he is not doing. We shouldn't find a way to demonize him. You could be critical, but to make it personal or to demonize, I think is ridiculous. And if we're going to criticize, I think we also need to praise. And I want to play a little bit of sound from Jonathan Kuminga. This is after yesterday's game in Chicago, where again, Jonathan Kuminga caught a hot DNP, his first healthy scratch in his short career. And he's still a very young man. I just want to play this video and give Jonathan Kuminga credit, even if you think this is what he's supposed to do as a professional. A lot of guys don't, especially a lot of young guys. I want to play this video. Let's give Jonathan Kuminga credit for handling a tough situation that he is highly compensated for, and maybe is some of his own doing, but handling a tough situation in a manner that I believe is wise beyond his years.
And I think we just switched certain things. Yeah, that's all.
Do you think it's like a one-game thing, or do you think it's like for the foreseeable future?
I mean, I'm not really sure, but as long as things are working out there and we're winning, I don't see the point of switching anything, changing. So whenever my number get called, I'll be ready. But I don't see the point, because I feel like we're doing good. We've been doing good, and I think things working, we're moving well. So I don't see a point of taking certain people out of rotation when they're playing good and things are going well right now. So I don't see a point. What is
I left the subtitles up because Jonathan Kaminga is a soft-spoken cat, but I think y'all got the gist of
Yeah.
what he's saying. Pointed questions, difficult questions for that young man to answer, but he gave the right
Savvy
answer. He gave the right answer in a variety of
coached
ways.
well.
We're
But you know
winning, so I'm not going to say anything.
You know what it
That's
also
what you're
tells me?
supposed to say.
It also tells me that he's quite comfortable with his pending move to another team.
He
I ain't
he
even
knows
tripping.
that the
I'm
divorce is
gone in a few
happening.
weeks. Because I felt that way many times. I'm out here anyway, dude. Everything is cool for me. So
I'm making real good money, more than I've ever seen in my life. I know I'm about to be out of here. So this
Yeah.
situation and my future situation, not
Yes, sir.
necessarily optimal, but like Too Short said, I ain't tripping no more. It really ain't worth my time. but there are a lot of cats in that situation
A lot.
who would not handle it in that way. And
Jimmy
maybe it'll
Butler.
right. And maybe it'll change if he keeps catching these hot DMPs. The Warriors don't play again until Friday. So if he gets another DMP on Friday, or if he sits for the majority of the game, maybe that post-game interaction will be a little bit different. But like I said, if we're going to criticize, and I think the criticism is right in terms of his play and why he got the DNP on Sunday, if we're going to criticize, I think we need to praise in the same breath, or at least a breath that's close. Real quick, 22-19.
Let me add one more thing. That I also think, all jokes aside, I also think it's a savvy answer, because it's basically a signal to other teams, like, I'm not a problem child.
I'm not a problem. Yes. Yeah.
I'm not
Absolutely.
a problem.
Absolutely. Real quick, Chargers just kicked a field goal, up 22-19 with 6 minutes left to go. The Eagles have the ball. Both of these teams are 8-4. Nothing would be more hilarious to me than if this epic mid-off ended in a tie. So please, God, please let this game end in a tie. The quality hangers, who again, just very patient, know that our show schedule has been completely in flux, and we started late tonight. But I want to get some of these comments up, because they are bangers. Jay Stamps said somebody on Twitter called Pat body cam off Spencer. Pat, you have the right to remain silent, Spencer.
I'm loving it. Pat Chips Spencer.
Pat, let me see your hand, Spencer. Oh, Jay Stamps with the double up. He's saying that Kaminga's statement had PR person statement written all over it. Maybe so, but how many times have we seen these young cats, especially ones that have gotten a chunk of change in their pockets, go completely off?
Dude, I mean, the guy clearly has been coached by Butler and Draymond and Steph,
and his agent Aaron Turner.
His agent does him no favors, by the way.
No.
His agent does him no favors.
I'm going to keep my public comments on what I think about his agent, Aaron Turner. But
I would fire him.
Yeah,
you can't say that. I can say it. He got to go. He ain't doing you no favors.
His agent strategy is
unique.
Yeah, unique. Sure. That's an adjective I'll use. You know what? It's interpretive. You know what I mean? It's like it's free form. It's free form representation. That's what I'll call it. Yeah, boy,
well,
it is.
You know what's interesting, Rod, is that with all this fuss, the Warriors have not lost a player that's gone on to be really good somewhere else.
Yeah.
And JK will have that looming over his head. I don't think he's going to be a guy who gets a team to himself. I think he may think that, but I don't see that. But I can see him being a number 2 or number 3 guy on a decent team.
Yeah, but here's the thing: can he see himself doing that? That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So again, the Warriors don't play again until Friday. They need the time off. Steph
Yeah.
seems to be on track to come back from that thigh contusion that he suffered last week. He seems to be on track to come back for the game of Friday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Al Horford should come back. Draymond Green should come back. So the Warriors getting some time off and maybe getting healthy, and maybe we'll be able to string some good games together and some good wins. And if I may engage in a shameless bit of self promotion,
He's due.
I'll be on Warriors pre and post game live this Friday with Bonte and Festus. So please tune
Rod,
in.
you're doing a really good job there.
Oh, thank you very much for the compliment.
Good
I really
job
do
there,
appreciate
my
it.
guy. Good job.
Yeah. It's so much fun, and I'm so appreciative of Festus and Bonte and Zena and Kareth and Dalton and the great Monty Poole, the homie Monty Poole, for allowing me to come in and hang out in their space and
Yeah.
talk hoop and have a good time. And it's been a whole hell of a lot of fun. All right, let's get to the Niners. And the Niners coming off the bye from this past weekend, the latest bye you can get in an NFL season, the latest bye the Niners have ever had in their history. And the Niners, even without playing a game, actually pulled off a win. The Niners were the 7th seed going into the games on Sunday. They moved up to the 6th seed. The Bears, who the Niners will see in a couple of weeks, the Bears were the number 1 seed. They played
Wow.
the Packers on Sunday, lost to the
Wow.
Packers. All right. Good game, close game, lost to the Packers. The Bears went from the top seed in the NFC all the way down to the 7th seed. So the NFC playoffs are absolutely in flux. But the Niners right now, their playoff road is smooth and it is wide open. Not only do the Niners come off the bye and get a chance to take on the lowly Tennessee Titans, and the Niners are a 13.5-point favorite. By the way, kids, don't gamble. Don't take that 13.5. I know the Titans are terrible. All right. And as a non-gambler, you're probably going, why should I listen to you? I'm just saying, I know the Titans are terrible, and you're looking at that. That's an easy 13.5. A 2-touchdown spread is giant. I know it seems tempting. Don't do it.
Yeah. That's why it's there.
That's why it's there. They're looking to get people who are just like, oh, that's the easy thing. I'm just telling you, don't do it. But the Niners coming off the bye, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Then the Niners will take on the Indianapolis Colts, who are in a whole world of trouble because they lost Daniel Jones to an ACL tear. Oh, I'm sorry, an Achilles tendon tear on Sunday. And their choices are either Anthony Richardson, who's got a broken face, literally, rookie Riley Leonard, or, and this is not a joke if you haven't heard this, I'm not making this up. This is an actual legitimate report. The Colts are bringing in Phillip Rivers for a tryout to see if he is able, and I'll assume if he's going for a tryout, he's willing to play quarterback in the year 2025 of our Lord Beyonce in the NFL.
No, that cannot be true.
I'm not making it up. Not making it up. Not at all. That's an actual real thing. So that's who the Niners are going to see in a couple of weeks. And after that, the Niners will see the Bears, who I think will be a very tough contest. We'll get to them. And week 18 against the Seattle Seahawks. You know, you go all the way back to week 1 and you're thinking week 18, Niners Seahawks, that game might not be for anything. Both of those teams will either have the playoffs locked up, or one of those teams will not be in the playoffs with the Niners. You would think because of their injuries, it wouldn't be the Niners. There is a chance, and shout out to the homie David Lombardi for all of this information. There is a chance that the Niners could get to week 18 and take on the Seahawks for the number 1 seed in the NFC. So the Niners are going to be favored in these next 3 games. The Titans, obviously, the Colts, obviously, and the Bears. And if the Niners win all 3 of those games, and this is where the Niners have to get some help, but this is not out of the realm of possibility. If the Rams lose to Detroit, who's coming off of a mini bye, they played last Thursday. So if the Rams lose to Detroit or Seattle, and by the way, the Rams have to play Detroit and Seattle in 4 days. That's a Sunday, Thursday turnaround for the Rams. So there's a really good chance the Rams could lose one of those games or both of those games. Now, also, with the Rams being as good as they are, they could win both of them. But I think if we're playing the odds here, there's a chance that the Rams are going to lose one of those games. If the Rams lose one of those games, Detroit or Seattle, again, 4 days apart, Detroit coming off of a mini bye, and Green Bay loses to either the Broncos, who have second to the Texans, one of the best defenses in football, or the Bears, a really good Bears team that they beat only by 7 points. If that happens, week 18, Niners Seahawks could be for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Who in the hell saw that coming?
And I mean, you quietly, Seattle is playing the best ball of any team.
Man, Seattle's defense is really, really good.
Holy
By the way,
moly.
it's a final. The Chargers, did they just pick off Jalen Hurts? 22-19. Chargers beat the Eagles.
There
The
it
Eagles
is.
are now 8-5. Chargers go to 9-4.
Yeah, man. Yes, Seattle is definitely a squad that everybody should be afraid of right now. They are playing the best ball of anybody in the NFC. And they are killing people.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'm still going to put the Rams there. And I think that where the Niners are and where they could go if they do not get the top seed in the NFC, the Niners can go to Chicago and win a football game.
Yeah.
The Niners can go to Philadelphia without a doubt because the
Yeah.
Eagles are in a whole heap of lot of trouble. The Niners can go to Philly and win that game. The Niners can go to LA and win a game. The Niners can play whoever wins the NFC South because the Buccaneers just lost to the Saints yesterday.
That's insane.
They've already beaten the Carolina Panthers. The Niners could go to either Tampa or Carolina or Charlotte and beat either one of those teams. It's without a doubt. You're right. The way Seattle's playing and the way they've played all year long, the way that the Rams are playing and the way they played all year long, those are two good teams, and they're better than the Niners. I don't think there's anything controversial in saying that. But for the Niners to be where they are right now and have a chance to not only win the division, but be the number 1 seed in the NFC, and even if they don't, still have the talent and the capability to go on the road and win a game or two, yo, man, that's wild. That's
facts. Wild. Yeah, I'm looking at Escobar talking about Seattle's victories because they've beaten Minnesota, Tennessee, and the ATL. Yeah, they have, and they've spanked them.
Yeah. They also beat the Texans. And listen, if it wasn't for Jake Tonjes playing defense and offense at the same time, they would have beaten the Niners in week 1. I understand hating the Seahawks. I completely and totally get that. And Sam Darnold, he had a get-right game yesterday, along with Matthew Stafford. They both had get-right games yesterday. Sam Darnold has regressed for sure. But, hey, man, let's keep it a buck, all right? You can hate the Seahawks all you want to. That defense is nothing to fool with because Leonard Williams will live in your offensive backfield, and you don't want that. You don't want the problems. But if the Niners have them down at Levi's and this is a winner-take-all for the division or for the number 1 seed, I'll take the Niners in that all day long. All day long.
Yeah, the 49ers have the experience in those types of high leverage games. So you would definitely have, and they're home. You would definitely have to give them the edge.
I really do think, though, that the NFC West and the top seed in the NFC, we get really goofy when talking about football, and we get overly quarterback centric about it. And I think that's almost a childish way of looking at football. But I really do think that what quarterback plays the best or makes the least amount of killer mistakes will be the quarterback of the team that wins the NFC West or ends up being the number 1 seed in the NFC. Because just look at the quarterbacks. And I'll put whatever the hell's going on in the NFC South on the back burner. Although you could bring in Bryce Young and you could bring in Baker Mayfield for this discussion, but just to narrow it down to the NFC West before we go to the rest of the conference. It's Seattle's defense is the best. The Rams defense is really good, and the Niners defense is, I think, the epitome of bend don't break and resilience. They have the best coordinator of the three, and it's a defense that's growing up in front of our eyes. I do think, and I'm curious to get some answers about the Niners' run defense starting this weekend against Tennessee with Tony Pollard coming in, Jonathan Taylor after that, albeit with a diminished passing game for the Colts, and the Bears have a really, really good run game, and Seattle's got a good run game. And that's why I said that to just narrow it down to quarterbacking can be unnecessarily reductive. But I do think that Sam Darnold is going to be under a microscope. And if he looks like the Sam Darnold from not just this past weekend, but over the past couple of weekends, I'll take that in a second, with Matthew Stafford. He's got ridiculous weapons, playing at an extraordinarily high level. But if Matthew Stafford has a game like he had a couple of weeks ago where he's throwing a couple of interceptions, that puts them in a bind. Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is under a microscope. Nice bounce back game for him before they went into the bye, but that game against the Carolina Panthers was absolutely not good. Whichever quarterback out of the three, because I think the teams are so even, although Seattle has the best defense in my mind, and I think the Rams are the most well-rounded of the three. To me, it's going to come down to which quarterback plays the best or which quarterback makes the least amount of killer mistakes. I guess you could say that both of those things are kind of the same thing.
Yeah, man. It's going to be very interesting. And I'm loving the fact that we're seeing defense actually matter this year, which is something I've missed for years. But defense has mattered this year. Running has mattered this year. We don't have guys throwing for 500 yards every week. I mean, I like this type of football.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how you feel about those Texans?
Man, let me tell you something, my brother. I was proud. I was absolutely proud to be a kid from the south side of Houston, Texas. I was absolutely proud to watch the Houston Texans last night have these two guys at the bottom of this picture with the boo-boo face. Oh, did I love watching Patrick Mahomes run around out there and 10 straight incompletions, throw 3 interceptions. Oh, did it fill me with such hater joy to see Kelsey out there and just like, I'm out here, an old man. My girlfriend is up in the stands, and I'm out here with these young killers, these YNs on this Houston Texans defense. I was proud last night to see the gritty, gutty Houston Texans prove that they are truly America's team. The Houston Texans beat the Kansas City Chiefs last night for the United States of America. And I think the United States of America owes the Houston Texans a big old fat thank you for putting a big old shovel full of dirt on the Kansas City Chiefs last night. Let me say this. The Texans did their part, okay? All right? They got the Chiefs all bloody, okay? The Chiefs are staggering. All right? They can't see straight.
That's right.
It's up to the rest of the NFL to finish the job because the Chiefs ain't dead until the Chiefs are dead. They're not going to win the division. All right, that's either going to be the Chargers. More than likely, it's going to be the Denver Broncos. All right, again, who has an incredible defense, but it's up to them to finish the job. The Texans got it started. Okay, they got the Chiefs bleeding out the side of their neck. All right, so they're almost done, but it's up to the rest of the NFL to finish the job. But as far as last night is concerned, the Houston Texans, because of what they did to the Kansas City Chiefs, just an absolute ass kicking. They are now America's team. You're welcome, America.
Well, CJ made a couple of insane third down plays
when he was running for his life because the Texans couldn't figure out how to pick up a blitz.
Oh my God. Insane plays.
By the way, when the Niners were sending blitz after blitz after blitz at CJ Stroud, when the Texans and the Niners played however many weeks it was ago, the Texans were picking those blitzes up like it wasn't no thing. Last night, it was like they'd never seen a blitz before in their life.
Well, it is a different blitz when it's coming from
Chris Jones and Steve Spagnuolo. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I will say this. I have to say, and I know people are going to be mad when I say it, but sometimes I watch Pat Mahomes and I just go, this dude is too goddamn good. Yeah. He was not really supported by his receivers as well as they could have been.
No, Rice and Kelsey had some dropsies. That's because the Texans was putting that wood to him early.
There's some major drops yesterday, but I'm like, how the hell is he able to even get the ball in the vicinity of some of these guys? It's insane to me.
I've only seen Mahomes play in person once. It's when the Chiefs came to Levi's play the Niners a couple 3 years ago. I forget what it was. And watching him on the field before the game, I was shocked as to how big he was.
Big boy.
And how fast he was. Now, don't get me wrong. All that tiptoeing down the sideline, all that bullshit bothers me. The preferential treatment that the Chiefs get from the refs, and I used to not pay attention to it until it became my problem last year when the Texans played the Chiefs twice. Like, everybody is right. The refs do favor the Chiefs. That preferential treatment he got was bullshit. But putting that aside, he is a big, strong, fast, accurate, athletic quarterback. I give him all the credit in the world in terms of just playing the game. He really is that good.
Tough, too.
Very, very tough. Very tough. But what it shows is a quarterback can make a team better, but if there are any deficiencies on the offensive line, there's any deficiencies as far as your pass catchers are concerned, those guys can make a good quarterback be average. And what we saw last night, because again, I think the Texans, they were the tip of the spear. They were forcing the issue. We saw gleefully a Kansas City Chiefs team, in terms of their pass catchers and their skill position players. We saw them let down their quarterback. And I, for one, say to that, good. Die slow, but die.
Somebody said the preferential treatment got them 2 whole Super Bowls.
Please die. Please die.
I mean, when you win, everybody gets preferential treatment. It's just a weird thing that happens.
You're right.
It's just something weird that happens.
I don't disagree with that.
I've seen it too many times, and it pisses me off. But I'm like, I've seen this game before. If you're the winning team, if you're a great team, you're getting calls.
Yep. I mean, listen, it happened with the Patriots.
Yep. Oh my God.
That's just the way it is. It happens in basketball. I mean, how many times have we seen it? So that is just the way it works. But you know what? And I said it earlier, and it looks like we got what we wanted. I think this nation is going to heal because we got a Chiefs loss that knocks them out of winning the NFC West for the first time in God knows how many years.
9 years?
And we got an Eagles loss tonight. The 2 teams who won the Super Bowl last year and have been, quite frankly, a scourge on this great nation have both taken fat, and I mean fat, capital L's, back-to-back nights in prime time. You know what? The United States of America is going to be okay. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Where do we want to go here? Oh yeah, let me shit on the University of Notre Dame. If you're not a college football fan, you probably look at what happens in college football and you go, what kind of shit show they got going on there? It's a shit show. There is no doubt about that. The college football playoff field of 12 has been set, and it is not without controversy. The big controversy is the University of Notre Dame was left out of the 12-team field. The University of Alabama, not having one of their stronger seasons, it's gotten into the 12-team college football playoff field, and
Not
the
shocking.
University of Miami, is in the college football playoff 12-team field. Notre Dame partisans feel as though they got jobbed because they had a 10-2 record, and they feel had won 10 games in a row after losing 2 games early in the season to Texas A&M and to Miami, which, by the way, that and to Miami loss
Yeah,
is extremely important.
vital.
They felt that they should get in over Alabama and Miami. And I said this on Twitter yesterday, that listen, I've been watching college football for a long, long time. Through the bowl system, through the BCS, and now to
Yeah.
where we are in the college football playoff, from 4 teams to 8 teams and to now 12 teams. I know that in no way, shape, or form are they going to leave out both Alabama and Notre Dame of a college football playoff if there
Yeah.
is a legit chance to get one of them in.
Yep. Yep.
Alabama plays in the SEC.
Yep.
Alabama beat Georgia in Athens, which is huge. They won 4 ranked games in a row over the course of the regular season, and they lost the SEC championship. I mean, they got mushed in the face, but they lost the SEC championship game on Saturday to Georgia. Now, Miami, because the ACC is fucking goofy, Miami didn't play in the ACC championship game, even though
Crazy.
record-wise they should have. But Miami, 10-2, playing an ACC conference schedule, and they beat Notre Dame in a non-conference game.
Sorry.
Now, Notre Dame does play 5 ACC games, but they're not ACC members. Like I said,
Nope.
it's college football. It starts to get goofy. So Notre Dame, they lost to A&M, Texas A&M, who's in the college football playoff, and they lost to Miami. They won 10 games. In those 10 games, they beat the likes of Stanford, USC, who's not as good as USC needs to be or used to be. They beat Boston College. They beat Navy. They beat Purdue. They beat Arkansas. Just a shit sandwich of a schedule. All of that being said, Miami gets in, Notre Dame does not, and Notre Dame is big, big mad.
Dude.
And the Irish are, well, crying. See what I did there? Crying Irish? Fighting Irish? Anyway, you see what I did there.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where nobody feels sorry for you because everybody who's not a Notre Dame fan agrees with this. Like, it's absolutely right. And the fact of the matter is, let's be completely honest, ain't no way in hell Alabama's getting left out of anything unless they lose 3 games. And even then, it still might be some sweat. Maybe you can sneak them out with 4 teams, 12 teams. Alabama's in every year, period.
Listen, Alabama has to lose a lot of games and lose those games badly for Alabama to not get in.
Yes.
But here's what it boils down to, all right? See, Notre Dame has had it good for a long, long time because they're Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is independent. All right. And I'm explaining this to people who don't necessarily college football, because I know that there are folks out there who don't. Notre Dame is not a part of a conference. Now, a conference, they used to be, geographically aligned. Now they're just scheduling conglomerates. Okay. That's all they're there for.
That's it.
But because Notre Dame is independent, they're not part of a conference. They're not part of a scheduling conglomerate. So they tried to be halfway pregnant. Instead of joining the ACC, which meant they would have to share revenue, they decided to go to the ACC, who's a sucker, and say, we'll play 5 ACC teams. All right. If you let us do that, that gives you get Notre Dame on some of your schedules, and we get to play some supposedly relevant competition. Well, that wasn't enough for them this year. Losing to A&M, losing to Miami, and playing that terrible schedule, which was mainly comprised of lower tier SEC teams like Stanford. Yes, soft ACC teams that a very soft schedule. The committee wasn't hearing it. If Notre Dame were a full member of the ACC, and if the ACC wasn't such a clown show, you would have had an ACC championship with Notre Dame in it. And like I said, if the ACC wasn't a clown show, you might have had an ACC championship rematch like you had an SEC championship rematch with Georgia and Alabama, or Big 12 championship game rematch with BYU and Texas Tech, you would have had Miami and Notre Dame in an ACC championship rematch. Well, because Notre Dame is not a part of the ACC, they didn't play in a conference championship game. So the simple solution is this: join a conference, but they don't want to because they're Notre Dame and they're independent. Well, you know what? If that's the way you want to do things, then you are subjected to a college football playoff committee that might have a sliding scale, whether you like it or not, might have a sliding scale on who gets in and who don't get in. Long story short, Notre Dame doesn't make the college football playoff, and they decide that they're not going to go to a bowl at all.
Lame.
No bowl whatsoever. Absolutely, lame. It's lame.
Lame. Listen, man, this is the price of independence.
Yep.
You want it. You want the freedom to pick your schedule, and you want the freedom to have a full network of your own. You want all that. You want the money. This is the price you pay. You got to be really good.
Yep. You got to be really good, or schedule tougher teams.
Facts on facts. I don't feel bad at all.
If you join a conference and you play in a championship game, and even if you lose that championship game, like Alabama did, and again, Alabama got mushed by Georgia. All right. Georgia was on that ass from the beginning. All right. But losing that championship game still gave them some cachet. Not playing in a championship game these days. And again, championship games, like the bowl system, it's going to be gone here in a few years. But the way it is right now, playing that extra game, even if you lose that game, can be beneficial to certain teams like Alabama. And I guarantee you it would have been beneficial to a team like Notre Dame this year. So you want to quit? You want to leave? You don't want to play in the bowl games this year? That's fine. Ain't nobody going to miss you.
I'm really disappointed.
Nobody bangs with you like that no more, Notre Dame. No one cares. Bye.
Was this coach's decision?
No, it was the school's decision. I don't know the guy, and maybe I'm giving him a little bit too much grace here. I just don't think that Marcus Freeman would agree to that. I am almost certain, without knowing in any way, shape, or form for sure, that this was the decision that was well over the coach's head.
And you really do punish the kids and the players by not taking a bowl game. I mean, it's so stupid.
Yeah. No, the whole thing is dumb. And a lot of people are saying, well, this is going to be the nail in the coffin for the bowl games. I understand why it's important to the players. But bowls are dumb anyway. It's only serves as a moneymaker for the bowl director and certain people. The schools generally lose money on sending teams, bands, cheerleaders, what have you. They generally lose money going to these bowl games, and they only really serve the purpose.
That's all.
Say it again.
It's just a big recruiting commercial for them. You carry some cachet.
Yeah.
Get on TV, etc.
But now everybody's on TV, and now that you could pay players, you don't have to necessarily be on TV to get people or kids to pay attention to you or to come to your school. So, and listen, I'm talking from a position of someone who is a fan of a school that is not this year anyway, even though we are going to a bowl game, the Texas Bowl, to play the University of Houston Cougars, oddly enough. My school is one of the schools that is, and I'm not saying it's healthy, but they are competitive when it comes to participating in, this moneyed game that is college football in the year of 2025. And as much as I love the sport and as much as I love the traditions of the sport, there are certain things that need to go. And I think bowl games, because it just serves as programming for ESPN. And people watch bowl games mainly because of gambling, So it's really not serving the players. And I understand why it's important to the players, but it's really not serving the players. It's serving the interest of the people who run the bowls, and it's serving the interest of ESPN, just so they can have programming through, from the middle of December to the beginning of January.
Yeah.
You know, if the bowls go away, are we really missing anything? In my estimation, I don't think so.
As long as you got these playoffs, you're good. But that's what they use. They use the bowls for the playoffs and call it a night.
Which is what's going to happen. But
Yeah.
you're going to lose, you know, these lower tier bowls,
Yep.
you know, like the fucking Relia Quest Bowl or the, you know, the Houston Bowl and some of these other ones. But the big ones, you know, the Rose Bowl ain't going nowhere. Sugar Bowl ain't going
Orange
nowhere.
Bowl's not going nowhere.
The Fiesta Bowl's not going anywhere. Cotton Bowl. You know, some of the second tier bowls, now I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like the Alamo Bowl is probably not going to go anywhere. There, what eventually is going to happen is the playoff is it's definitely going to expand to 16 teams, and it's probably going to top out at 24, which means you're going to have to use some bowl games. They'll have more games on campus. Instead of the, what is it now, 4 games on campus. You'll probably end up having 8 or 12 games on campus. Then you'll have the second tier bowls, and then you'll have the top tier bowls like the Rose, the Sugar, the Cotton, Fiesta, Orange, and I feel like I'm missing one. Maybe I'm not. So that's what's eventually going to happen. But you know, the fucking the Slap and Tickle Bowl, you know, in Shreveport, that needs to go. Ain't nobody missing that. Ain't nobody missing that. And now, you know, with kids getting paid, and also with a lot of kids opting out of bowls, the ones that feel like they have NFL futures, it's just not the way that it used to be. We don't need to keep pretending that it is.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. Escobar says he's a Meineke car care bowl guy. I mean, you're the one. Dom says, what about the Pop-Tart bowl? I don't care. I don't care. And I love Pop-Tarts, but I just don't care. Right?
If they up the sponsorship money, we might keep the name around.
And like I said, LSU's going to the Texas Bowl. If I remember to turn it on, I'll watch it. But am I going to run to the TV whenever it is to watch LSU play U of H in a game that absolutely doesn't matter? Absolutely not. If I do have it on, it'll be background noise.
Facts.
So Notre Dame, suck it. Suck it hard, Notre Dame. Nobody cares. No one cares. You're not as important as you think you are, and definitely not as important as you used to be. My goodness, we are an hour into this show. How about we do some on this day, like the Duke's Mayo Bowl? Who gives a shit? Really? The bowl game that's most famous for they dump a giant bucket of mayonnaise on the winning coach.
No thanks.
Which, that's
we fight. Actually, if you put the mayo on me, we definitely fight.
There's something I want to say, but I'm not. But y'all know what I want to say, don't you? Yeah, you do. How about we do some on this date? On this date, December the 8th. Oh man, what a day in American pop culture history. On this date in 1980, John Lennon was shot outside of his apartment on the west side of New York City.
Wow.
Here is how the majority of the United States of America found out about John Lennon being murdered on this date back in 1980.
A football game, no matter who wins or loses. An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival. Hard to go back to the game after that news flash, which in duty bound we had to tell. Frank?
Indeed it is.
The unmistakable voice of Howard Cosell on ABC's Monday Night Football on this date, December 8th, 1980. giving millions of Americans the shocking news that John Lennon was shot outside of his apartment in New York City again on this date in 1980.
Dude, I mean, that's kind of like hearing Michael Jackson got shot in the back.
Yeah.
So it's just so strange.
Yep. Yep. That's the first celebrity death that I can remember. I was a baby when Elvis died. I don't remember. I wasn't watching this game between the Patriots and the Dolphins. I wasn't allowed to stay up that late to watch Monday Night Football. Thanks, Mom. But I remember hearing about it, the next day or whenever it was, the next couple of days going to school. And I didn't grow up with the Beatles, but I kind of knew about the Beatles. So I guess I kind of knew who John Lennon was. That was the first celebrity death that I guess resonated is the word to use with me, as a young child. But man, I can only imagine, we're so used to getting news now instantly, whether it's on social media or, you're watching on television or whatever. I can't even imagine how shocking it must have been for, again, tens of millions of people watching a fairly nondescript game between the Dolphins and the Patriots. And Howard Cosell, one of the most famous people in the country, breaks into a run-of-the-mill football game to tell you that one of the most famous people of all time has been murdered in New York City. I can't even imagine how that must have hit people in real time at that time.
That's insane. I mean, it's almost like a president or a king being gunned down. Crazy.
100%. I'm going to go a bit out of order here chronologically because on this date in 2004, and I believe that this is an eerie coincidence more than anything else, but on this date, one of my favorite guitarists, easily in my top 5, the great Dimebag Darrell Abbott was shot on stage not long after a concert started with his new band Damage Plan in Ohio, if I'm remembering correctly. Dimebag and his brother Vinny, they founded the fantastic metal group Pantera, as you can see, representing and while Pantera has some questionable imagery in their history, and Phil Anselmo is a world-class jackass. Yo, man, Pantera's music it makes me just want to go out and fight people. And I'm a massive fan of Dimebag's guitar playing. But on this date is the new band that Dimebag and his brother Vinnie Paul started after Pantera broke up. They started their concert. A former Marine who had been diagnosed with schizophrenia walked up on stage and
crazy, dude,
shot Dimebag in cold blood on this date. December the 8th, 2004. I think it's just an eerie coincidence.
I don't know, man. It's such a crazy, odd, weird thing.
Yeah. So there you go. Man, didn't I just bring the festivities down? All right, we'll move on. Enough of that.
Who else died, Ron? Who else?
On this date in 1982, the cinematic classic 48 Hours premiered. One of the funniest movies of all time. And this is Eddie Murphy's film debut. A lot of people think it's Trading Places. No, 48 Hours is Eddie Murphy's film debut. He had already been on Saturday Night Live for a little bit. This is what propelled Eddie Murphy into superstardom. Eddie Murphy was 21 years old when he made 48 Hours.
I was so excited when this movie came out. And it's weird that, like, I feel like, sometimes the young people are onto stuff before the older folks. And Eddie Murphy was that, because if you watch Saturday Night Live, like I did, and I still do, but you watched it then, Eddie Murphy was literally the only reason you tune in every single Saturday night.
100%.
And as soon as everybody found out he was going to be in the movie, everybody was prepped for it. But the rest of the country was not prepared for the success of that film.
I read that Eddie Murphy was worried that he was going to get fired from 48 Hours as he was making it because he didn't think he was funny enough.
It was perfect amount of funny, and that's what you got to remember, Eddie.
That's the equivalent of Michael Jordan think the Bulls are going to cut him during the first couple of games of his rookie year because he's not that good of a basketball player. Eddie Murphy is making 48 Hours, and he thinks I'm probably going to get fired because I'm not funny. Wrap that around your head for a second.
And this is really one of the first iterations of the interracial buddy cop film.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right. This is
Absolutely.
Eddie and Nick Nolte, but then before that it was Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. But pretty much that was it.
Yep. Oh, it was a groundbreaker for sure. And I caught 48 Hours. It's probably been a couple of years or so, but I caught 48 Hours on a rewatch after not seeing it for a long time. You know, it was a staple back in the day when it was on HBO and it felt like it ran on a loop. I hadn't seen 48 Hours in a while. Still holds up. Still
funny.
Really, really, really funny. Really funny. And the chemistry between Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy is absolutely unbreakable. So
you got a $500 suit, and you still a low life.
There's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Reggie Hammond. Y'all be cool. Oh yeah, don't get me quoting 48 Hours. I'll do it. So yeah, on this date in 1982, see, I lighten the mood. 48 Hours premiered. Eddie Murphy's film debut. He was 21 years old. On this date in 2011, the Chris Paul to the Lakers trade was nixed by David Stern. When's the last time you thought about this? Chris Paul was supposed to go to the Lakers, and I'd forgotten that the Rockets were supposed to get Pau Gasol. The Hornets were going to get Lamar Odom, Luis Scola, Kevin Martin, Goran Dragic, and a 2012 first-round draft pick. David Stern, the late David Stern, the former commissioner of the NBA, got wind of that trade, and he said, hell no. And it changed NBA history for sure.
Wow, look at those names. That is crazy. But who knows what would have happened with that team, with that Laker team in particular? Because Kobe and Chris Paul might have killed each other.
I couldn't say it fast enough. I don't know if it would have been a homicide or a murder-suicide. I don't know if Kobe would have killed Chris, if Chris would have killed Kobe, or if one of them would have shot the other and then took his own life. But there would have been
slow singing, that's for sure.
Slow singing and flower bringing. There would have been some sort of side. Okay. I don't homicide, suicide, I don't know, but there would have been some sort of side. I promise you that.
That's right.
and maybe that's what David Stern understood, and that's why he nixed the trade.
That's right.
There would have been a murder. Probably it would have been like what's that movie? Bruce, it was a football movie. Bruce Willis was in it, and Damon was it the Last Boy Scout, where the guy runs down the field and he's shooting people. Like Kobe probably would have brought out a gun and just murdered Chris Paul at half court, and we would have all watched it happen. So
ain't no way that would have worked. Ain't no way. Young Chris Paul too? Oh no!
Oh no!
You think he'll let Kobe talk to him crazy? Oh no!
And listen, we haven't even talked about Chris Paul losing his job with the Clippers because a group of classic underachievers could not stand being yelled at by a classic overachiever, and that's Chris Paul, who can't play no more. And he got bounced up out of there by them dog ass Clippers. Chris Paul, when he could play with Kobe. Oh yeah. There would, at minimum, there would have been some furniture moving between them two.
100%. 100%.
6 days later, Chris Paul was traded to the Clippers for talk about these names: Eric Gordon, Chris Kaman, Al Farouk Aminu, and a future pick was turned out to be Austin Rivers. Lakers ended up winning one or two more championships after that. Two more, yeah. Kobe got one more, if I'm remembering. And then obviously the Lakers won that bubble championship. But on this date, the Chris Paul trade was nixed by former NBA Commissioner David Stern. And the last on this date, not a happy one, but when I ran across this, it just kind of blew me away because I think we've forgotten about this, even though it was fairly recently. On this date in 2019, the first confirmed case of COVID-19
Oh, wow.
was found in China. Hey, everybody, remember the pandemic?
That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
We had a fucking pandemic. That actually happened.
It happened.
We had a full-blown worldwide pandemic, and it started on this date in 2019. That came and went. What?
Crazy, dude. That's great. That's one you can tell your kids about, your grandkids about.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
it's
wild.
nuts, dude.
That's wild. That's wild. So there you go. On this date, December 8th, John Lennon shot outside his apartment in New York City. 48 Hours premiered. Dimebag Darrell shot on stage. Chris Paul trade nixed by David Stern. And the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic happened all on this date, December the 8th. There you go. There you go.
Nicely done, baby. Nicely done.
My favorite part of the show. I'm gonna scroll through some of these comments here. See what we got here. Yeah, the panty just changed the world. Kobe would have pimp slapped Chris Paul into the.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. I mean, I wish we could have seen it, but I don't know.
Paul is not sitting there taking. Chris Paul is a stay ready all-star.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing about Chris Paul. And I know this being a big guy. I know this about little guys. Little guys stay ready because they're little guys. And they've been little all their life, which means they've been fighting all their lives. And they're just looking for a reason to uncork on you, right? Because they're little guys. And they've been taking shit all their little lives. And who did I see put their hands around Kobe's neck? Was it Chris Childs?
Yeah.
Like I've seen people put their hands on Kobe. I mean, like I said, I would have loved to have seen it, and maybe I'm wrong, but in this extraordinarily hypothetical fight between Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant, I'm going with the little dude because they stay fighting. They stay fighting.
Yeah, I don't think Kobe's going to just take. Nah, I don't know about that. Listen, Steve Smith is probably the meanest, toughest little bastard I've ever seen on a football field.
Yep.
And that dude, stay ready.
Stay ready. Them little dudes, I'm telling you, don't run up on these little cats, man. Because like I say, they always looking for a scrap because we've been talking down to them literally their entire lives. So.
Oh, here I go again. I gotta beat up another big guy.
I gotta chop down another tree. Escobar says he still blames Rudy Gobert for the pandemic. You know what? I'm not going to cape for Rudy Gobert. I blame him too. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The hell with him.
Rudy Gobert is the one who got the world sick. All right, let's do the best thing that I've seen today. I like to drop the best thing that I've seen today in hopes that it is the best thing that you will have seen today. One of the best experiences of my life, sporting wise, was going to England and seeing a Premier League soccer game. It changed the way how I view Americans, changed how I view soccer. Made me a soccer fan, even if I'm saddled with being a West Ham supporter. But it changed the way I looked at fandom here in the United States, because I thought, being a typical American, I thought that we were the roughest, toughest hombres on the planet when it came to sports fandom, right? Nobody's tougher than an American sports fan, particularly an American football fan. Then I go to England, watch a Premier League game, and I go, oh, no, it's different over there. They've been fans of these teams for 150 plus years, right? Yeah. We're talking about generational fandom. They live and literally die for this shit. And it's not just in England, it's soccer around the world.
Sir.
And the one thing that I'm always jealous of when it comes to European soccer fans is I love their flair game. And I'm not talking what they wear. I'm talking actual fucking road flares that they bring them in the games and they uncap them bad boys and they'll be singing, behind the goal, waving flares. And we think we're tough, right? We're just a bunch of posers, okay?
Yep.
We put on dumb outfits in hopes that we get on television. Grown men paint their faces in hopes that they get on television, right? We ain't nothing compared to European soccer fans. Check out this video from not Denmark, from the Netherlands. This is a run-of-the-mill Dutch soccer game. And I want y'all to watch how they get down when it comes to flares and fireworks. This is right when the game starts.
Between two Dutch teams canceled after fans set off fireworks and flares inside the stadium. The ref leading players off the pitch 5 minutes after kickoff on Sunday. When they tried to restart the game, well, fans set off even more fireworks. Eventually, it was abandoned and rescheduled to be played behind closed doors on Tuesday.
Love it.
Yo, man, look at this.
That's insane.
That's like Oakland during the 4th of July.
That is
and
insane.
that's the beginning of a regular season soccer match in the Netherlands. Raider fans, y'all ain't shit.
Nah, ain't nobody messing with that. Ain't nobody messing with that.
We need to up our flair game in the United States of America. We need to get down like that, dog.
By the way, where are the fire regulations in this place?
I mean, they're interpretive at best.
Everybody just
regulated at worst.
Okay.
Yeah. Dog, look at that. That looks like absolute Armageddon. And it's not
insane.
to celebrate a win.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the game. Come on, dog. Three minutes in, and they're already G'ing off like that with flares and fireworks. That is clearly the best thing I've seen today.
Yeah, I need to go out there and see that myself.
Oh God, yeah, I encourage everyone to do it. It really will change the way you look at sports. It really will. It really will. Yeah, good stuff. There you go. That's the best thing that I have seen today, and hopefully it becomes the best thing that you have seen today. Best thing I've seen today, you guys in the comments. And again, I said at the beginning of the show, said it last week. I know that our schedule has been absolutely topsy-turvy, and it is on me and me alone. I've just been crazy busy.
Out here doing real business on the broadcasting side.
I'm lucky enough to do some work at NBC Sports Bay Area, which has kept me from being able to bring you guys quality hang on the reg. I can promise you this. We will go live on Thursday. We were unable to do it last Thursday. We will go live this Thursday because there is no Warrior game this Thursday. So, of course, we will be here. So we will see you on Thursday. But to all of the quality hangers who stick with us with our irregular broadcasting schedule, and all of you folks in the comments, thank you. We do this for you, and we could not do this without you. So thank you for being very patient with us, and we thank our presenting sponsor, as always, the fine folks at Hot Monk Taverns. 3 locations to choose from. Check them out in Sonoma, Sebastopol, or in Novato. I think, Marcus, that is enough for this fine evening. How about you?
It was perfect, baby.
Perfect is what we strive for. All right, everybody, have yourselves a fantastic night. Have yourselves a great rest of your week. We will see you on Thursday. And as always, be good and be good at it. We'll see you. Bye.